Hey guys, this is Are You Ready For? Today is February 28th, 2024, 12:46 a.m. Central Time. So, I guess for anyone who might be catching this first time, or as a reminder, my email that you guys can contact me with is in the description. But beside the point, I have gotten a rather large number of emails asking me my thoughts on a primary, and I apologize to any of you who actually, there's a few of you who emailed me multiple times. I got the emails, I just haven't responded to anyone, so don't take it personally. So I figured I'd just do a video on it eventually anyway. So here's that video. Well, so Michigan primary was today, right? I'm going to pull up on my phone real quick because I had it. Trump, let's see. 83.97% is reporting. Trump has 68.29%. Haley has 26.53%. And then the one beneath her that is the highest is uncommitted at 2.89%. And then DeSantis comes in a little over 1%, and everybody else is less. That was still on the ballot because the ballots got printed before some of these people dropped out. So anyway, obviously Trump won. He got 9 delegates as of so far, which is probably what's going to stick. And Haley got 2 delegates, which is probably going to stick as well at this point with 83 or actually almost 84% reporting. So what is Haley doing? Thoughts on primary? I think it's pretty obvious what she's doing, and my recent post on X should actually say that quite bluntly. She's waiting for Trump to go through the courts and see how he fares out. Which I personally think is disgusting. And the reason I say that is because that is like way beneath the office of POTUS to be doing that. To be the quote alternative and be, you know, I'm here, I'm ready to step in bullshit is actually quite disturbing. I don't like that at all. And that is her game. This is a long game for her. She's not going to be going anywhere anytime soon, I don't think. Especially with the way she's talking, but you never know how candidates are. But I think that's pretty much what it is, because there's no one else obviously left in the primary besides her. And I think she's just, like I said, waiting out Trump. And I think that's probably a losing game. And for people who are like, well, she's ruining her political career, blah, 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 by doing this and all this shit. Especially if this doesn't fare out her way. I honestly don't think it's going to harm her at all politically in the future. Because, one, Americans are like goldfish. Our memories are short. And unless someone reminds you of something, you're not going to remember. Because so much shit goes on. And two, in the future, Trump obviously won't be able to run. Because if he gets the next 4 years, obviously, he won't be able to get another 4 years. So she'll be in a new race with everybody else. You know, hopefully DeSantis goes in that route, or Tim Scott. I honestly think Tim Scott's going to be the VP. Moving on. I don't think people will hold it against her. I really don't, because there's a lot of people out there that are never Trumpers, and I think that's really stupid to be against a candidate 100% without actually having factually based reasons, besides not liking Trump, how he carries himself, how he talks, what he writes, like he, you know, what he's done in the past. Like, who cares? I don't care any candidate what they've about any of that if they actually make their agenda help me and affect my life in a positive way. I don't care what you do. I really don't. And what you've done. I'm not looking for a moral character for office ever. Ever! Because it's like, I don't care if you have a moral compass or not. I really don't. Whether you are morally corrupt in the past, I don't care. It's what you are going to produce, whether that's in Congress, POTUS, whatever. As long as you do the job, I'm not looking for someone to look up to. And anyone who thinks that kids are supposed to look up to the president your parents need to take that thought back. Okay? No one should be looking up to the President of the United States, regardless of who it is. You really shouldn't. You shouldn't be looking up to anyone in politics. And if a parent says that you should, that parent needs to be re-educated on life in general. So I think Haley's going to stick around. I really do. I think, I don't know. Beyond that, it's just kind of like, let's keep going, you know. Let's keep going through every little state and every little primary, and she's going to get her ass kicked, and Trump's going to fart on her and just fuck her up and all her numbers. I mean, there's no state that Haley's going to win. And saying that she lost her home state is like some big deal. Yeah, it's kind of a big deal, but she did get a decent percentage, if you will, lack of a better term, for the people that showed up. But also in a lot of these primaries, in a lot of them, as much as most of you should know, Democrats and independents are able to actually vote in the GOP primary if they want to, if they haven't already voted in the Democrat primary. So you can't double vote, but who knows if they do. But I mean, beside the point. So a lot of Democrats could easily be crossing over and voting for Haley. And they have interviewed people that said that they are voting for Haley today. Not Michigan, but it was in South Carolina and New Hampshire. We're voting for Haley today, but we're going to be voting for Biden on election day. So it's like, how much support does Haley really have? And the fact the Koch brothers pulled out on her the other day is a huge blow and a big deal politically. Let's put it this way. It's a big deal in the politics world, in their little elite world of bullshit. Having the Koch brothers pull out on you sends a signal to all the rest of the elites that, hey, we see something else coming down the road and Haley ain't it. So I think that was actually a big blow. And her actually saying, she's been questioned the last couple days or whatever, because her speech in South Carolina did not mention, and I listened to it again, GOP, Republicans, Republican Party, anything like that. She sounds like she's planning on a third party run if this shit doesn't fare out with Trump the way she wants it to. And go under the no labels or whatever. And I don't honestly know if no labels would even allow her or take her on. I don't know how that works because we've really never had a third party candidate with no labels. And Kennedy, Robert Kennedy is getting himself on basically all the ballots. In every state, slowly, he's making it through the states to be in the general election, and that will take votes away from the Democrats. I don't foresee it taking many votes away from the GOP, but it will take, cipher some votes from both directions, I'm sure, but mostly Democrat. So he's going to be in the race too. So it would be all four of them if Biden doesn't get replaced, and I'll go in that in a second. But it'll be Trump, Biden, Kennedy, Haley. If Trump doesn't have any issues in court. That's probably my likely thought process. However, if Haley really does do that, and I think either she's going to drop out or go that way. If Haley really does go no labels, she will have killed her political chances in the future as a Republican, maybe even as a Democrat. So she's really got to think long and hard if she wants to stay in politics if she goes no labels. That will taint her. Her pulling out way late in the game because Trump actually got through the court systems fine. She won't have a problem in the future. I'll tell you that. I honestly don't think so. But if she decides to go no labels, she might as well just walk away from politics. And obviously she won't win. And Kennedy is an interesting figure. He obviously won't win either. But it'll be Trump or Biden, and It'll be very, very obvious in a sense that so many people came out that the Democrats can't possibly cheat their way through this one and steal an election. Or it's going to be so fucking close that who knows what'll happen, but it'll probably lean Democrat. Who knows? Because especially if Biden gets replaced. See, the delegates that are in the GOP primary, they're bound to the candidate that comes out on top. Like two are going to Haley in Michigan and 9 are going to Trump. Those delegates are literally bound to that candidate when it comes to the RNC convention. The DNC, however, does not have those rules. So the DNC can literally pick whoever they fucking wanted. And it doesn't have to be Biden. And it doesn't, and as far as VP picks go in the DNC, just because you get rid of POTUS doesn't necessarily mean you get rid of the VP, but it doesn't necessarily mean the VP goes in place of it either. So technically they could swap out Biden with, say, Newsom or Michelle Obama, which I think is highly unlikely, unless they get seriously desperate and they just want votes and people are dumb enough to vote for her, I guess. I know she's highly liked by the Democrats, but I mean, honestly, I'd love a Democrat to see this video and tell me, why would you vote for Michelle Obama? Out of everybody in your, not Michelle versus Trump, I mean, anyone in the Democrat Party, why would you vote for Michelle Obama over Newsom or over Biden or whatever when this bitch has no political history, is a failed lawyer, and actually was quite a crappy ass first lady too. Some of the projects she took on failed hard. And a couple actually did go through, which weren't helpful at all. Like the school lunch thing lasted a while, and then that ran out on funds and stuff like that later on during Obama's administration. And the only thing I can think of that she did that was successful under Obama's presidency was she is the one, I believe, that got the calorie count and breakdown, like fats, saturated fats, calories, I don't even know, I can't think of what else is on a label, sodium, blah, 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 breakdown on foods, including fast foods, to be required. That was a Michelle Obama push. And that got, put in place after she kind of pushed it down everybody's throats and whatever. So congratulations, Michelle Obama, for getting calorie counts and fats and all the other wonderful stats on food. But as far as that goes, she's done nothing else. She hasn't been in politics for very long, meaning her husband. I mean, he was a senator prior to being POTUS. Didn't do anything that comes to mind. I wasn't paying attention to the Senate at the time. I was serving, so I don't know. But other than that, I mean, other than following Barack Obama around, she's in the circles, she's in the elite circles. Media loves her, blah, blah, blah. But as far as being qualified to be POTUS, come on. At least with Newsom or Biden or even Harris, because she's been in politics and she's been VP and she's seen how things work and shit. And she's now privy to intelligence and stuff too. Would be better picks than Michelle Obama, to be quite honest, if I was a Democrat. Because they have the political experience. Governor obviously deals with stuff on a state level the way you would on a federal level. Biden, obviously, there's no reason to vote for him, period. But his little handlers that are, playing the strings with him. But I mean, the dude, at least legitimately, you could say, oh, well, he's got a lot of has a lot of political history and has been in politics forever, way too long. And he's done this and he's done that, like all these stupid little things that you people think you've accomplished. And Harris, obviously, she was in the Senate. She was an AG for California. I mean, so she's got somewhat of a resume. But Michelle Obama doesn't have a fucking resume for nothing. Her resume is calorie counts. Congratulations, Michelle. But hell yeah, they could absolutely put her at the top of the ticket. Now, people are saying that she would be likely because they will have to bypass on Harris, the first woman of color. To bypass the first woman of color in the Democrat circle, yeah, that's a big deal. But honestly, I don't think it is. I really don't. I think the people that are playing the Harris card, saying that they're going to have to replace her with strategically to get around Harris and, you know, not cause voters harm kind of thing and get people to not come out and vote. I think people are not seeing what I'm seeing, and that is nobody likes Harris. Democrats, elites, no one likes Harris. And I think Harris has proven herself to be useless. She's never around. She's rarely behind Biden. We never know what she's doing. She was given several tasks and didn't do them at all. Like, literally didn't even do them at all. And she's ahead of some fucking AI shit. Oh, great. The country's in great shape if she's ahead of AI policy. Like, she has any qualifications for that. And obviously the border czar she failed at. She didn't even try. So trying to replace Biden and tiptoe around this Harris situation? No, they're not going to be concerned about that at all. But I do believe that if Biden is replaced, excuse me, if Biden is replaced by Newsom, I think the 2024 situation could get interesting because he is well liked, regardless of what he's done to his state. He's such a sleazeball. He's a sweet talker. And I've seen him in debates. And he is excellent. Oh, God. He is so excellent at spinning what the other candidate says for his side, like, not his side, but like to make them look bad and make him look good. It's actually really impressive. If you get a chance, look up a debate that Newsom's had with somebody. In fact, look up the debate he had with Ron DeSantis on Hannity's show. He's very well articulated with how the Democrats function. He can take something you say, spin it, make it look good for him, and make you look like you're fucking Satan. It's very impressive. He obviously has talking points and shit like that. Blah, blah, blah. Every politician does. But he's rather savvy on his feet. He is not Joe Biden by any means. So Democrats will like that. You know, if you're wired to be a Democrat, you're going to like that. And if Newsom and Trump went up in a debate, oh God, I'd actually like to see that. I would love to see that. I think Trump would have to seriously prepare. And when I say that, I mean hold a paperclip in his hand and tap it rather than get angry. That was something that I learned in high school through a teacher that did public speaking. Is to hold a paperclip in your hand and just kind of press on it and stuff to refocus your thoughts and kind of zone out where you're at, what other people are saying, the sounds around you, whatever the fuck. He would absolutely need something like that so that he doesn't go off and get angry and scream and start calling him names and like basically what turns off independent voters and everything like that. That would be an interesting debate. Newsom and Trump. And that could be a very interesting election. I don't know if Biden will be replaced, and I'm leaning towards the no. I really am. I'm really leaning towards the no. But replacing him and bypassing Harris, nobody's going to care. I'll leave you with this last thought. Trump whipped everybody's ass in Iowa. Yes. Got over 50%. Then everybody drops out, and it's against Haley in New Hampshire, South Carolina, and now Michigan. Obviously, farted in Haley's mouth. The thing is, And I saw someone say this, and I looked back to see how accurate they were, and they were a little accurate. Not by a lot of percentage points, but in New Hampshire and in South Carolina, I don't know the polls said for Michigan yet. I'd have to look. But in New Hampshire and South Carolina, and I think even Iowa, but I didn't look at that one, Trump underperformed what the polls said. Granted, the polls can be trash. 100%. Otherwise, we would have gotten Hillary Clinton as a fucking president. But that is something to think about. So if he's underperforming in the primaries on the exit polls that they had prior to the vote, that has to put a bit of a pause on the Trump campaign. Because you need to be outperforming, or at least performing as much as, kind of thing. But to underperform kind of should raise their eyebrows a little bit. No matter whether it's 5% or 2%. It doesn't matter. You should always outperform those types of things, especially when there's only one other fucking candidate with you. So if it was like 7 people or 5 people or even 4 people, I'd say, yeah, whatever, chalk it up to the polls. But he's the only other person. There's only one other person on the ballot besides him, you know? So, that is something to pause about. He's going to have a really tough time if he doesn't truly focus hard away from Haley, talk about the future, not talk about the past, definitely not touch the 2020 election, stay away from his court cases, talking about them, commenting on them at all, saying anything about being politically persecuted kind of thing. I mean, if he goes hardcore, this is what I'm going to do, this is what we were able to accomplish during my presidency, that type of thing, that's the only thing he goes backwards on and talks about, he could be in very, very good shape with independents and even some Democrats who are just sick of the Democrat Party. And I find this funny, and I don't care if you people get offended by this, but the black community is really rushing towards Trump. And if the Democrats lose the percentage that is out there that they're saying Trump is getting on his train of the black community, they will lose. They will lose. Black community has a lot of pull in the Democrat Party of whether they win or lose. So if the black community truly does come out for Trump, the Democrats will lose. And I find it funny, and this is why I said I don't care if you get harmed, your fifis get irritated by this. A lot of the black community is looking at Trump because of his court cases and because he got a mugshot and because he's being prosecuted and persecuted through the courts and the justice system is turning on him and everything like this. The blacks are turning to Trump because of what's happening to him in the courts. So he's got to really play a tight line, a tight rope between talking about that stuff to remind people that's what he's going through, but he really doesn't have to remind people. That's the thing, because every fucking network carries those stories, so it's not like anybody can get away from it anyway. I think Trump needs to literally rely on the mainstream media to tell the bullshit stories about how he's still in court, whether they spin it one direction or the other, saying, you know, he's awful, he did this, he did that, you know, he's guilty, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. The people who care about the court cases is the black community. And no mainstream media is going to convince a black person who has an issue with the justice system, whether themselves, their friends, their family, whatever, during their lifetime, they're never going to take the mainstream media's opinion about whether Trump should really be prosecuted or not, or what Trump really has done or not. They're just going to say, yep, he's still in court. Look what these assholes are doing to him. They are trying to take Trump down. The justice system is against him. Trump needs to rely on that. If he wants to comment when the court case happens outside the courthouse, fine. But he needs to keep it out of his campaign speeches. Period. Or his primary speeches or anything. He needs to stay away from it. The mainstream media will do the job he needs done for him. Because, like I said, the only people who care about those court cases is the black community. Independents care about the court cases too, but not the way the blacks do. The blacks care about them and are going towards Trump because of them. Independents are straying away from Trump because of them. He needs to reach out to those independent voters and remind them what was so good about his administration and what he can do moving forward to fix what this asshole has done in the White House light speed in almost 4 years. 3.5 years? What is it? 3 years. 21, 22, 23, 24. 3 years. Wow. Biden has broken this country so much faster and so detrimental to a degree I didn't even think was possible in such a short period of time. It's incredible. If he wants to talk about accomplishments, that's all he's really got to say is, I've upended this fucking country faster than anyone on the planet could have. That is what he has accomplished, and he should tout that, because that's pretty actually damn impressive. But anyway, so Trump needs to talk policy, and he needs to talk what he did and what he's gonna do and blah, blah, blah. And he needs to come out with his VP sooner than later. And the reason I say Tim Scott is the VP is because Tim Scott, off of everybody that was on that list, I like, can't think of her name now. Oh, South Dakota governor. Noem. I like Noem too, but Noem doesn't bring anything to the ticket. Nobody that he listed brings anything to the ticket but Tim Scott. Tim Scott checks the boxes he needs. And I'm not saying checking the boxes the way Democrats do. I'm saying he is a good complement to Trump in this sense. Tim Scott is religious. He's obviously black. He's well articulated about all kinds of different policies because he's been in the Senate. He helped Trump in the past with the tax code when they did the tax breaks. He wrote some of it. He did opportunity zones with Trump. He had a lot to do with the criminal reform that Trump did. He is very much the opposite of Trump, though, personality-wise and speaking. He is very articulate and very not self-involved, which Trump obviously is very self-involved. He's very articulate, but he's so self-involved. Scott is not. Scott is a great compliment to Trump. He'll bring in the religious vote, evangelicals, which is what GOP needs. He's pro-life too. Trump's obviously pro-life. He's kind of backtracked a little bit on some stuff, but so he'll match Trump in that sense. He's pro-life. So he's religious, black, pro-life, and he has political, legislative accomplishments that he had with Trump. So he's worked side by side with Trump, so Trump knows what he's getting in a Tim Scott. He doesn't know what he's getting with anyone else on that list. He doesn't. And Tim Scott comes off to me as not being a yes, sir, yes, man kind of guy. That if he thinks Trump's doing something a little goofy, he will tell Trump. But he will say it in an articulate reason. Why? What's wrong? What he thinks? What he should do? Or give him advice or whatever the fuck. And Trump, he could make Trump think about certain things. Just because of how Tim Scott carries himself. I will be shocked and disappointed if Trump does not pick Tim Scott for all those reasons. So that's the end of this video. It is concerning that Trump has underperformed the polls, but like I said, polls are gay. And Haley needs to walk away, but she won't be damaged if she stays in and Trump gets the nomination, official nomination. She won't be damaged. She will be damaged if she goes no labels. That's the only thing she'll be damaged by. She won't win, and she'll ruin her political career that way. Within the GOP, with the public, with everything. So Haley's playing the long game. Don't expect her to go away any day soon. This is Are You Ready For It? Take care, guys. Have a great day.